Man, there's so many great characters. The supporting cast is just fantastic. Um, from Marva to Bix, all of the key players in Andor's life and what sets him up. It's just you can see each one plays a vital role. Each one has a their role to play, and without each one of them, Andor wouldn't be who he ends up being in Rogue One. So, man, it's a toss up between Luthen, just because his performance, Stellan Skarsgård's performance, is so fantastic. But you know what? You know me, Kevin Cole. I am a Wally guy, and the B2 emo droid had to be my favorite because he just made me laugh every time I saw him. He seemed like an Eeyore type of, like, he's always like, nah, man, Andor, here we go again. Like I just love the way that they the personality that they put into that droid, and the design of him as well. So he was my favorite character. But man, like I said, there's just so many great supporting characters that it makes the world feel real. It makes it feel lived in.
Yeah, like I'm looking at a list of the characters that we get introduced to in the first 3 episodes. So you have Cassian, of course, the protagonist, thief, survivor. You have Luthen Rael, who we mentioned, played by Stellan Skarsgård, this mysterious rebel recruiter. You got Marva, played by the great Fiona Shaw, Cassian's adoptive mother. You have Bix, played by, like we said, Adria Arjona. Tim Carlo, played by James McArdle. He was Bix's boyfriend, the jealous boyfriend. We mentioned Cyril Karn, played by Kyle Soller. And then you've got Sergeant Linus Mosk, played by Alex Ferns. I love the sideburns. Ferns with the sideburns. And then Brasso, played by Joplin Sibtain, who was his friend that was working in the yards there. And then Kieran O'Brien plays Pegla, who works in the Ferric scrapyard and helps Cassian by covering his tracks.
Yes.
And then you've got, Antonio Vigna, who plays the young Cassian. That's just like 10 of the actors and actresses that we get, and the characters that we get in these first 3 episodes. There's more, right? And like, I think that's like, again, when you think about Tony Gilroy and the writing team, when they sat down to like plan this, it was like, there's one main character, Andor, the series is built around. That's the story we're going to tell, but it's all of these other characters around it. So if I have to answer my own question, the character that stood the most out to me in the first 3 episodes that's not Andor is Kyle Solar's Cyril Karn. I just thought he was really compelling because at that particular point in time, we really didn't know why this guy was so obsessive, what he was trying to prove to himself. Then you sort of get introduced to this sort of weird mother relationship. He kind of reminded me, now that we've seen the Penguin, like there's a little bit like this guy's kind of like the Penguin, he's definitely got some mommy issues. He's got a chip on his shoulder, wants to prove himself, that kind of thing. So, and that leads him to really botching this entire, mission that he wasn't even supposed to be doing in the first place. Yeah, so I think he's probably my favorite character in the first 3 episodes. Stellan Skarsgård, I think more as we get into the middle of the series, he starts to become my favorite character.
Yeah.
When you get to see him sort of do that dichotomy between, rebellion, Luthen, and the very flamboyant, what is he, like an antiquities dealer, I guess is kind of what he's doing, Coruscant.
I was going to say, it's hard with this because we already know the rest of the season. We've seen the rest of it. And putting ourselves back in our shoes of, we only saw these first 3. Each one of these characters goes on. They just continue to build and build and build. And they all get great arcs and they all have great motivations and stories. But going back to just this first arc, it's like everything is just laying the groundwork and the foundation for what we're going to see later on in the series.